Head coaches always love to say they played lights out after a tough Saturday of college football. In the case of number 19 Stanford and San Diego State, they mean it quite literally. With just under 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the banks of lighting at decrepit old Qualcomm Stadium simply went out in a close, tense 4-point game. The inexplicable timeout was reminiscent of Super Bowl XLVII's outage, only with slightly less on the line for either side. That brief moment of darkness turned out to be a moment of clarity for the Aztecs, however, and allowed them to game plan an 11-play, 75-yard go-ahead scoring drive that sealed a 2017 victory and made the team an immediate Group of 5B contender. The outage overshadowed the much-anticipated duel between star tailbacks Bryce Love and Rashad Penny, who both lived up to the hype as they carried the respective teams offensively deep into the night. Given the conservative nature of both head coaches, there was little issue with running the ball often and playing stout defense between two good teams, but it certainly made for a rather unexciting contest when all was said and done. Cardinal quarterback Eller Christ was largely ineffective and had his worst outing as a starter, finishing with just 8 completions for an unremarkable 56 yards and the game-sealing interception with 48 seconds left. If not for Love running behind the bruising offensive line 184 yards and 2 scores, things could have been even worse for the one-time title dark horse. As good as Love was, though, his counterpart for the Aztecs was just as good in a second consecutive Pac-12 win. Penny wound up with 206 all-purpose yards and 1 touchdown, the bulk coming on 175 ground-churning rushing yards. Quarterback Christian Chapman was efficient to bring balance to the offense, 187 yards and the game-winning touchdown toss, and put SDSU firmly in the mix for the Group of 5 bid at the end of the year with a pair of major victories. Saturday night may have cost Texas much more than just a mark on the right side of the loss column. In the second quarter of its epic double overtime loss to USC in Week 3, Connor Williams went down with what appeared to be a potentially significant knee injury. Sunday evening, the Longhorns confirmed as much as the football program announced that the offensive tackle had sustained sprains to the MCL and PCL in his left knee. Additionally, the junior suffered a meniscus tear. As a result, Williams will undergo arthroscopic surgery to repair the damage. However, that surgery will not take place for 710 days, meaning the tackle will likely be sidelined for a significant period of time. Just how significant that time will be remains to be seen. There is no timetable on his return at this point, and a further update will be provided following surgery, the school stated in its release. On my way to a full recovery. Nothing has yet to change. 10 every day. Hokum sign of the Horns medium light skin tone https://t.coicogpnr10 Connor Williams at Connor Williams September 17, 2017. The loss of Williams, projected to be one of the top linemen potentially available in the 2018 NFL Draft, would be significant for the Longhorns. Williams has played in and started every game at left tackle since his true freshman season in 2015. After earning consensus freshman All-American honors that season, he was a consensus All-American following the 2016 season. College game day isn't on campus this week, but if it was, it would likely be in Stillwater, where number 9 Oklahoma State hosts No. 20 TCU 3:30 p.m. ET, ESPN. Someone else that won't be in Stillwater, or at least impacting the action at Boone Pickens Stadium, TCU running back Kyle Hicks. Hicks rushed 11 times for 84 yards in the first half of the Frogs' 5,636 win over SMU, but did not appear in the second half. Head coach Gary Patterson indicated afterward that the unspecified injury will keep him out of next week's game. Patterson says RB Kyle Hicks probably out for Oklahoma State. Didn't play second half today. Got dinged again. Carlos A. Mendez at Calix Monday, September 16, 2017. Darius Anderson carried the load for TCU in the second half, finishing the day with 14 rushes for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Anderson has been the featured back in TCU's rushing attack thus far, carrying the ball 42 times to Hicks' 23. But Hicks still adds a dimension Anderson does not. The senior has caught 3 passes thus far this season and hauled in 47 a year ago in addition to his team-leading 203 carries. UTEP has fired offensive coordinator Brent Pease after an 0-3 start. Brett Bloomquist of the El Paso Times first reported the news, which was later confirmed to the paper by head coach Sean Kugler. Yes, making a change and will address it at press conference Monday as far as any staff change responsibilities, Kugler told the Times via text message. UTEP becomes the third FBS team to make a coordinator change through 3 weeks of the season. East Carolina and Missouri have already replaced the defensive coordinators. The Miners were blown out 6,316 by Arizona on Saturday night in a game that was sparsely attended. Through 3 games, UTEP ranks second to last national in total offense at 204.7 yards per game and in yards per play 3.89. The Miners place 125th in scoring at 13 points per game. The firing represents another professional fall in a series of such falls for Pease. Once regarded as one of the top offensive minds in the game, Pease was a top lieutenant to Chris Peterson at Boise State, considered at the time to be an equal of current Broncos head coach Brian Harsin. Pease was Boise State's assistant head coach and wide receivers coach from 200710, and took over offensive coordinator duties when Harsin left for Texas in 2011. He parlayed that season into a job as Will Muschamp's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Florida, but lasted only 2 seasons after ranking 92nd and 110th national in yards per play. Pease returned to Peterson's employ as the wide receivers coach at Washington, but was let go by his old boss after 2 seasons. He lasted a season and a quarter at UTEP. One has to wonder if the changes will stop at Pease for UTEP. The Miners are 1834 under Kugler, a former UTEP football player, and 918 since reaching the New Mexico Bowl in 2014. The program is a far cry from going 168 under Mike Price in 200,405. Mississippi State has leapt from the ranks of the unranked all the way to number 17 in the latest app poll, released Sunday afternoon. The Bulldogs walloped Theno 12 LSU 377 in Starkville on Saturday evening, the club's largest margin of victory in the 111-game history of the series. Additionally, Mississippi State's road blowout victory over Louisiana Tech became even more impressive when the Red and Blue Bulldogs went on the road and beat defending Conference USA champion Western Kentucky. Elsewhere, San Diego State, Utah and Oregon made the 2017 debuts in the app poll, replacing Kansas State, Stanford, Tennessee and UCLA. Clemson's 4,721 drubbing of Louisville allowed the Tigers to nudge past Oklahoma for the number 2 spot in the poll and pull within 60 points of the number 1 ranking. The full poll: Alabama 1,504 total points, 45 first place votes; Clemson 1,446, 15 Oklahoma 1,432, 1 Penn State 1,306, USC 1,241, Oklahoma State 1,150 for Washington 1,141, Michigan 1,081, Wisconsin 1,031, Ohio State 1,015, Georgia 940, Florida State 922, Virginia Tech 730, Miami 606, Auburn 596, TCU 553, Mississippi State 532, Washington State 419, Louisville 356, Florida 308, South Florida 272, San Diego State 201, Utah 194, Oregon 158, LSU 153.